Ladies and gentlemen, may I introduce to you the Tooliom TL-250M Multi-Process Welder. Alright, wow, that's still really hot. Chuck. Here about a year ago, I did a video on the Tooliom TL-250M welder, MIG welder. At the time, it was the cheapest 200 amp dual voltage MIG welder that used shielding gas that I could find anywhere on either Amazon or eBay or anywhere like that. And so I picked it up, and honestly, I really didn't expect a lot out of it. It was, I bought it because I needed a MIG welder at the time. My MIG welder had bit the dust, and I picked this thing up and got to using it, and I was seriously impressed by how good it was for how cheap it was. And honestly, it was as good as anything I'd ever used, even at any price range for that size MIG welder. And once again, let me, disclaimer, I am not a professional welder. I don't weld for a living. I've done it for a long time just for my own personal use for hot rods and stuff like that. But I really was, this thing really did a great job. And I don't know if it was just mine or if they're all that good. Let me know in the comments if you bought one of those Tooliom MIG welders and if yours was as good as mine. I know a lot of, in my old video, a lot of people said they got one, they were really impressed with it. The only gripe I had about it, and it really wasn't a gripe because I would never use the feature anyway, is the 4T, 2T deal. I never could get it going to 4T. Didn't really spend a lot of time trying because it was nothing that I would ever use anyway. Here in the last couple of years, I went blind in my left eye. So it really makes it hard for me to TIG weld now. And I still can do it some, but if I'm not in a good position, it's really tough on me because I lost my depth perception. So I find myself using this MIG welder a lot since I've gotten it, and in pretty much any time that I'm not doing something that requires TIG welding. So getting ready to start a new project, and I'm gonna make a aluminum frame for this convertible Mustang back here to make a lightweight top for it. And so I'm gonna need to do some aluminum welding. And thinking about it, I'm like, man, I don't even want to do that. I hate to even try to do it with a TIG welder. So I thought about setting up my little Tooliom to weld some aluminum. And so I looked into it a little bit. I said maybe I could put a Teflon liner or whatever in the torch, and but then I'm like, I hate to do that and have to change it back and forth. So then I come to the conclusion, like, well, I'm just going to get me another one. I'll just watch for a sale, grab another one and convert it for aluminum and leave it set up for aluminum all the time. So I go on Amazon and pull it up, and lo and behold, they've got a brand new unit. This unit is specified for using with aluminum. It actually is set up to use a spool gun. Don't come with it, but you can buy a spool gun, hook it up to it. And it even comes with the, I think graphene or something like that liner that you replace your regular wire liner out of your torch lead to go ahead and run aluminum. And it comes with the aluminum drive rolls and everything. So I'm like, well, that's pretty cool. And it's a 250 amp unit. Of course, we're a little skeptical on whether or not this thing really hits 250 amps, just like we're not really sure this other one makes 200, although it does a good job on thick metal, so maybe it is. But so I said, well, this thing is $400. I'm gonna watch for a sale on this thing and grab it up. And I think if it works as good as the other one, I think it really could be the solution for me to do aluminum with. And I'll just leave it set up for aluminum all the time. But I thought, hey, it's a good chance for me to do another video with you guys and show you the differences between it and the old 200 amp unit and compare them, and also show you how to set it up and run some aluminum on it. So check it out. Anyway, this one, showed up, put some damage on the box. Box blew open there, and it's got a hole in it. Wonder if somebody from the Untold Shipping Company wanted to check it out and see what it looked like. Who knows, or maybe it just got dropped. I don't know. We're gonna find out if this thing got tore up or not. Okay, let's see what we have. I don't see nothing banged up on it. Okay, here's one difference already. This one has the 220 plug coming out of the unit. And I'm assuming you have an adapter to go to 110 in here. The other one was the opposite. It actually had a smaller 110 volt plug and an adapter to step up to 220. This one is already 220, and I'm assuming steps down to 110. And we got quite a bit more going on here with our with the front of the unit. Quite a bit more. But we still have our wire speed the same way and the normal, slow, and high. We've got a bunch more selections in here with buttons. And let's see here. And we got the same kind of, all that kind of looks the same. So I don't know if you can see this or not. Here we got a selector for spool gun and torch here. So it is spool gun ready. And let's see what's in this here bizox. Here's our hose. This time it's rubber, where last time it was real thin silicone. And here is our adapter to adapt down to 110. Here is our, or my, let me give you an exact measurement on that. Ground is 9 foot 10 inches. There's that. And here we got our stinger for stick welding. We'll never use that, but who knows, one day maybe I'll try. And here we have our, we got 3 drive rollers. The other one came with 2. This one includes an extra one, and I'm assuming that's because we now are aluminum capable. So one of these drive rollers will be for aluminum. And we got our instructions. Use those daggum instructions. They think they're dealing with. This seems to, it is. This is actually a sticker this time. Our welding sharp. They must have seen my video where I had to tape mine to the wall there, and it's too big to go in the welder. So, but this time we have a lot of settings here that we didn't have before. At the bottom here we have aluminum settings. It tells you to use 100% argon, of course. And you got your wire size. I'm going to order me some wire because all one thing I have is some little stuff. And it's got your settings for that. So yeah. So we're going to go ahead and stick this on something, put it in the right, somewhere where we can access it. And here we got our torch. It tells you not to stick this on your head, because you may suffocate. So here we have our additional liner. This is graphene, I believe what they call this. But that's our liner that we're going to change out to use it for aluminum. Now let's see if this torch looks like our old one. Yeah, it pretty much does. It's actually, that trigger is whack. Maybe I'll get a little grease on it or something. Let's go ahead and measure this out. See how long she is. Let's go from the end. I can't see it. Oh. Whew. Oh man, I'm gonna remeasure that. Kind of lost my, got me all messed up there. I almost suffocated to death. All right, we're gonna start it. Let's start from the tip. So we're gonna go right there. It's a pretty heavy duty cable in this thing. And we're right dead on 10 foot and 1 inch. I may have added an inch in there when with all that pulling and tugging there. So anyway, I'm not digging this torch button there. I don't know if it's just where it's brand new. I may have to get in there and like sand that off, the little flashing off, because it kind of wants to, it's doing better now that I use it a little bit. But when I first pulled it, it actually wanted to stay engaged. Maybe that's how you use 4T, you just get it stuck. Anyway. So there that is. So, I guess I'll go ahead and look at these instructions. Find out how to switch out the liner, get rid of all this extra stuff, but at least it wasn't damaged. I was really worried that it was going to be damaged when I pulled it out of there, and it was, the box was all toe up. So far so good. I'm going to set this thing up, and I'm going to actually take my TIG welder off there and sit this one beside of it so we can compare them side by side. Anyway, follow along. All right, we're going to get this thing set up. We're going to give it a shot. Like I said, we got these different drive rollers here. We're going to start out using some regular old 030 MIG wire. See this one? Got a little U on it. That's the U groove for the aluminum. We're going to put the regular drive roll in. We're going to hook it up on the 08 for this 30. So look in here. We're going to slide this little bad boy in here. Got to line it up with a little keyway. A little cap back on it. Go ahead and hook up our torch. Excuse me, BB. Pop off this little cap. You got this little cap. Screw it on. Okay. And if we look at our little chart here, it'll tell you which way to configure your ground strap and for your different type of welding. So we're going to use MIG, and if you can see here on the MIG, it looks like it is going to the middle one right beside the thingy there. So that means this will go into this. They don't give you a lot of room there. It's a pretty tight turn for this thing. Take our ground, and it's going to go in here. All right, so there that is. Now we're going to install our wire spool. Ta-da! Anyway, if you want to see how to install this, you can watch the other video. On the other welder, it's exactly the same. So anyway, there that is. We're going to go ahead and get this thing going here. And you can take this thing off, make it easier, la-di-da, but that's not important. it'll make its way out every time. All right, there we are. All right, so now what we're going to do is I'm going to move this thing to my welding table side of the other one. We'll kind of compare them a little bit, and we'll go ahead and give it a shot, see how good it works. We'll not be needing the 110 anymore. Holy crap. Just a couple things I failed to show you before on the old welder, but this has the exact same thing, is how this torch is actually made. It seems a little funny because it's not the, it's a little different styling than what you're used to with a MIG welder, but it is a pretty sturdy torch unit, and it uses regular old, generic Tweco type consumables. I had a little trouble out of this one with the button being kind of sticky there. Like when I very first pulled that thing, it didn't want to come off. But it seems like it's loosening up now. It's still a little clicky, but it seems to be working okay now. But the cool thing here is that I never showed you when I did my video on the 200 is the way these little reliefs are on here. It's actually got this ball socket type connection here with the relief on it. It's really nice actually, and it has it on both sides. See here, and we'll go over here and look at the 200. It has the exact same thing. See? So these things are built very, very similar. There's, other than the display, there's not a lot of difference there. But the big difference is this here. Now, I mentioned it earlier, but now you can actually see it a little better. The switch between torch and spool gun. So I'm going to try my best to see if I can get this thing working good on aluminum just with the regular torch without having to use a spool gun. Most people who are into welding, they pretty much rule that out right away. If you go to a welding supply store, tell them what you're doing, they think you're nuts saying that you're going to weld out of with just changing a liner out. But there's been some people that's done it successfully, and we're not doing it for a living or doing it every day. So if we can get it to work pretty good, I'm gonna be good with that and not have to spend the $100, 100 and whatever, couple odd bucks. It's whatever Tooliom sells their spool gun for. If I don't have to buy that, I'm not going to. I'm going to try to get away with just using it like this. And I think I'd like it better too. It will be a little easier to get it in and out of places. The spool gun can be kind of bulky. So anyway, we're going to move this thing now over beside the old 200 unit. Pulled my TIG welder out and got it out of the way for now. We're going to put it on this cart and compare them, and we'll do a little welding. MIG 250. Don't be upset. I'm still going to use you. This is just going to be your friend. Don't be so, no, listen, be nice, be nice. Hook this one up first to the MIG gas, then we're going to move it to the straight argon later. Take this off here. Okay. All right, we got our gas hooked up. We've got our torch hooked up. Yeah, we've got a wheeler on in here. We're going to plug her in. All right. All right, that's the end of part 1 of our video series on the Tooliom TL-250M MIG welder. Up next, part 2, we're going to do some actual welding on some mild steel plate. So be sure and check that out. I'll put the link up there for you. Be sure and like and subscribe to this YouTube channel. That's going to help me out. And be sure to click that bell notification and comment. It's always good to hear from you. I'd like to know what you think. Any questions you got, you want to hit me up. Anyway, that's it for now. Check out part 2. Chuck out.